Self-belief is a lie. They told us, just believe in yourself and it will all work out. So we obeyed. We read the books, we followed the advice, and in return, the universe put us in hell. So I threw it all away. The promises, the secrets, and watched them burn. Why? Because I remember the exact moment the lie stopped working. I was young, naive, and all I cared about was making it. So I took my last bit of savings and I bet it all on a course to start a marketing agency. I told myself, if I just go all in on this, if I just believe enough, there is no way I won't succeed. I finished the course in half the time. I showed up to every weekly call. I did all of the modules, including the big one on self-belief. And then I went to work, doing something we all love, cold calls. Every day, dial after dial, until my voice gave out. 1 week went by, then 2, then 3, then 4. Boom! I booked a meeting, and they said yes. I celebrated. I thought I had finally broken through. But that yes was the trap. 2 weeks later, the client backed out. The deal fell through, and I was back to zero. The final payment was due. I was broke. I was selling my childhood Lego sets just to afford food. I messaged support. I explained the situation. I pleaded for just a little more time. And the mentors, the guys who preach mindset and abundance, they didn't offer help. They just kicked me out. And I know I'm not alone in this. We've all been sold the same lie. We believed the dream sold by the guru, the potential of a career, the promise of a relationship. We treated our belief like a contract with the universe, but it wasn't. So when it all collapsed, we didn't just feel unlucky, we felt stupid. And that is when the anger turns inward. You don't just hate the guru or the boss or the ex, you hate yourself. And when that shame settles in, when the belief burns down to ash, you wake up here. Welcome to the desert. Beautiful, but unforgiving. We all end up here eventually, and you arrive here dragging all of your tools with you. The books, the courses, the strategies. But you realize quickly, maps don't work in the sand. Every direction looks exactly the same. So you get rid of them. You let them burn, because they can't get you out of here. Vincent van Gogh, the man who cut his ear. At 27 years old, he started his dream, a dream of becoming an artist. He had no money. His brother, Theo, paid for every single tube of paint. Vincent went to work. He produced a new piece of art every 36 hours. But his work wasn't fueled by self-belief. He was riddled with doubt. He felt like a burden to his brother. And after years of selling no paintings, he was the last person on earth to believe he was going to make it. But the doubt wasn't the worst part. On December 23rd, 1888, Vincent made his big move. He wanted to build a Studio of the South, a brotherhood of artists living under one roof. He invited his hero, Paul Gauguin, to join him. He thought that this was the beginning. But Gauguin found Vincent unbearable. And on that night, Gauguin packed his bags and walked out the door. The dream shattered instantly. Vincent didn't respond with positive thinking. He took a razor to his left ear and he severed it. He woke up in a hospital. Then he checked himself into an asylum. By every metric, he was a total failure, a madman locked away from society. But even in that cell, with iron bars on the windows, he didn't stop. He looked out at the dark sky and he painted. And the result of all that work, in his lifetime, he produced 900 paintings and 1,100 drawings. He sold one, the Red Vineyard, for 400 francs. A few months later, at 37 years old, he walked into a wheat field and shot himself. The story should have ended there, a pile of worthless canvases left to rot. But his sister-in-law Jo refused to let the work die. She spent the next 30 years forcing the world to take a look. And slowly, the world woke up. Today, the man who couldn't sell a single canvas is one of the most celebrated artists in history. On that desolate night in the asylum, looking through the bars, he wasn't painting a failure. He was painting a masterpiece. He just didn't live long enough to hear the applause. I'm telling you this because Vincent is the ultimate proof that belief is a liability. When he started, he had belief. He bet his sanity on the idea that it would all work out. And because he relied on that belief, when Paul left, Vincent collapsed. And ironically enough, the most productive years of his life, 1888 to 1890, happened after the crash, inside the asylum, when the dream was dead, when the hope was gone. He didn't paint the Starry Night because he believed in himself. He painted it because the belief had burned away and he had nothing left but the work. He had self-dignity. Belief states this will work. Self-dignity asks, who am I? Belief needs a map, but here, there are no clues. There is no clear path. Dignity is the only thing that moves you. It is accepting that you are lost, but deciding that you will walk anyway. Not because it is guaranteed to work, but so that even if it leads nowhere, even if you never get out, at least you know you gave it everything you had. Look, there is nothing wrong with self-belief, but when the storm comes, life is going to give you every reason to doubt. So instead of trying to force a feeling that isn't there, let it go. When I failed that agency course, I stopped asking the books to save me, and thank God it didn't work out. Because if it had worked, I would be trapped in a cold-calling nightmare. I would be living someone else's dream. If I hadn't failed at that, I wouldn't have found AI. I wouldn't have found my voice. And I wouldn't be standing here making this video for you. Van Gogh didn't live long enough to see his victory. He died thinking he was a complete failure. But you are still here. You are still holding the brush. Just make a promise to yourself. Follow the path to its end. Whether it's a success or just a lesson, you won't know until you get there.